Hey guys, welcome to another video. My name is Ian, I'm Ian the Reader, and today I'm coming at you with my first video discussing my reading plans for 2022. So later on in the month of December, you'll see a few other videos talking about my plans for next year, specifically like my 22 most anticipated books to read in 2022, series that I want to start in 2022, and things like that. But really quickly, I did want to go ahead and make a short video discussing my plans for reading some classics in the year 2022. So it has come to my attention that I am utterly lacking when it comes to the classics that I have read. This is particularly bad because I'm an English major. I graduated with my bachelor's degree in English in August, and I was just looking up some lists of like classic books and like things that a lot of English majors read, and I haven't read like a ton of them. And so I tried to start remedying that as the year 2021 progressed. I have been pretty consistent with picking up classics for the past few months, but I find myself picking up classic books that are, either ones I'm not as interested in or are shorter because they're less intimidating. And that's fine, that's great, but there are a lot of classic books that I really want to get to that I just haven't made myself like give a try, and that I have a great feeling about and that I think I will love, but they're kind of intimidating, honestly, and I've been struggling with that. So my plan is for the year 2022, I'm going to push myself to pick up some classic books that I really want to pick up that maybe are a little bit intimidating, but I really do feel like I can get to. So here's my plan. I'm going to read 6 classic books in 2022, at least 6. I have selected 6 classic books that I feel I should have read already, or that I really want to read, that I have not given a chance because of how long they are or how ambitious they are, and I'm going to make myself try to read all 6 of them in 2022. My plan is to read one book over a span of 2 months, and so every other month I will draw a classic from like a little classics jar that I will make or whatever, and I will randomly select from my 6 books which one will be the classic I'm focusing on for the next 2 months. So I'll read one classic over January and February, one over March and April, and so on and so forth throughout the end of the year. But without further ado, let me go ahead and discuss the 6 classic books that I am planning on picking up in 2022. Before I do that though, let me just say I may pick up more classics, maybe some shorter ones, maybe some longer ones, I don't know, but these are the 6 that I really want to prioritize in the year 2022. The first of those is David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. I have read only one other Charles Dickens book, and I read it in 2020, which is kind of crazy because I was in my senior year of college at that point, and I somehow escaped reading Charles Dickens up to that point. I read Great Expectations in 2022, and that one I actually read because I was supposed to have read it as a sophomore in high school, and I didn't, and so I was like, you know what, let me just go ahead and give this a go. And I actually really enjoyed it. And I found it to be more accessible than I thought it was going to be, just because I feel like a lot of people, especially like when I was in high school, really didn't like Charles Dickens and just found him to be boring, but I thought his work was really funny, I thought that he was really clever, and I really enjoyed Great Expectations. And so I thought it would be nice to pick up another one, and I've heard great things about David Copperfield. It is definitely big, but it is one that I'm really excited to get to. I was torn between whether or not I wanted to pick David Copperfield or Oliver Twist or Tale of Two Cities. Those were really the 3 that I was torn between, but I ended up picking up David Copperfield just because this one has been on my radar the longest of the 3, and yeah, I'm really excited about reading this one. I don't know how I'll end up liking it. I think I gave Great Expectations 3.5 stars when I finished it, but I think honestly upon reflection I would raise it to 4, and so I'm really hopeful that David Copperfield will be even better. Next up is Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. I think that's how you say his name. I feel like as an English major I'm supposed to know how to say it, but I don't. I'm really bad with name pronunciations. I feel like every video I'm like, I don't know if that's how you say it, or maybe that's the wrong way, or whatever, but this is who I am, okay? Whatever. But yeah, Crime and Punishment is one of those books that I feel like is so widely acclaimed. It's considered one of the greatest novels of all time, and has just been so impactful on so many people and on just like, literature as a whole that I'm dying to read this one. I've heard such amazing things about Crime and Punishment, and yes, this is one that I think of the 6 I am most eager to get to. There's like 1 or 2 others as well. There's kind of like 3 that I'm hoping to read, and then 3 that I like absolutely want to read so badly, and this is one of those 3. So yes, Crime and Punishment, very excited. Next up we have The Count of Monte Cristo. I still have the sticker on here because there's another sticker underneath it that is just like so ugly and just like hard to get off. Maybe I'll try to get like some Goo Gone on there at some point or whatever, but for now I've got the sticker. And yeah, this book is massive, and the font, as with many of these, the font is so tiny, and so it's definitely intimidating. However, my senior English teacher, my senior AP English teacher, this is her favorite book of all time, and I mean, I've just heard ridiculously good things about this book. I'm nervous about this one more than most, just because, I don't know, I think I tried to read Three Expectations, what is this? I think I tried to read The Three Musketeers a number of years ago, and I just couldn't get into it, and so I'm a little nervous about trying to get into this one. However, I have just like heard such incredible things about it. I think this could really be a favorite of mine, so this is one of the three that I was talking about that I'm really anxious and excited to get to. However, this one is really, honestly, pretty intimidating to me, so yeah, I think this version, like I said, it has really tiny font, but it's like 890 pages or something, and I made sure it was unabridged because I ain't about to read an abridged version. Like, what's the point of abridged versions? Like, if you're gonna read a book, commit. If you're not, don't. It's fine. You don't have to read it, but if you're gonna read it, read the whole thing. Next up, I have Don Quixote by Miguel de Cervantes. This is one I'm very excited to read. I've heard it's really funny and just kind of ridiculous, and another one of those that I had to be really careful about making sure I got an unabridged version because there's so many abridged versions out there. This book is really long, the font's really small. I love how floppy it is, and I'm very, very excited about this one. Yes. I like the cover of this one too. There are actually a lot of great editions of this one. I always get nervous with some of these though because a lot of these are translated works, and I always worry, like, should I be reading a specific edition or things like that? So I tried to do a little bit of research, and I have heard pretty good things about the Oxford World's Classic version and the translation of it, but I don't know. So if you have read any of these books and you prefer a specific translation, please let me know, because these are the copies that I have, but that doesn't mean it's the copy that I have to always read, or maybe I'll reread them at some point and want to do a different translation, but yeah. Let me know. Next up, we have the last of the three books that I desperately want to get to, and that is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. This is considered to be one of, if not the greatest novels of all time, which sounds like, I mean, that's like a thing. Like, that is a huge praise. Like, can you imagine, like, having written the greatest novel of all time? In addition to that, he also wrote War and Peace, and so I was actually kind of torn between which book to include, because I do want to read Anna Karenina, but I also want to read War and Peace, and so I kind of went back and forth on it, but Anna Karenina eventually won me over, so my plan is to definitely pick this one up in 2022. I must read it. I'm so excited about it. Yes. Then lastly, I did choose to include a book that I wasn't originally planning on including, and I may go back and forth. I would like to read this book or possibly Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I believe it's Charlotte Bronte. Maybe it's a different Bronte sister. I can't remember. But I would like to read Jane Eyre as well, so it'll either be Jane Eyre or Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman, because I would really love to read more poetry, but then at the same time, like, Jane Eyre is supposed to be, again, another one of the greatest novels of all time, and so I may read both. I may read neither. I may read one. Who can say? But yes, Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman. I would love to at least read some of this. Like, this is one that I included also because, like, it's a collection of poetry, and so there are different, like, stages in it, different parts and things like that, and I would be okay with, like, dipping my toes into it in 2022 and maybe not finishing it, but just trying it out, you know? And so I think this is kind of a safe bet, and I may still pick up Jane Eyre because I feel like I should. If not in 2022, then absolutely soon. But yeah, I would like to read these. But those are the classic books that I absolutely want to get to in the year 2022. Let me know in the comments if you like reading classics, or if you don't, or if you want some recommendations for some classics that are pretty easy to get into. There's some classics that I have read and adored, and then there's some classics that I have not been able to stand whatsoever. I am very, very hopeful about all of these books that I have selected though, so fingers crossed that 2022 will be my year. I will get through a lot of these, and hopefully I'm setting myself up for success with only picking 6 and giving myself 2 months. I would really like to read all of these physically as well. I listened to some audiobooks for classics, and that's still good, but I feel like with these, they're so meaty and heavy that I would really like to just give myself time and space to really, like, digest them, rather than just trying to, like, zoom through them. That's why I'm giving myself 2 months to read them. I think I can do it. I'd like to read 3 of these. If I read 3 of these, I'll be happy, because these are all pretty dang long, pretty dang ambitious, and yeah, I'll aim for 3. But that is all for this video. I just wanted to give you guys a little quick update on my classic plans for 2022. Like I said, I have a lot of videos planned for this month talking about my plans for 2022 and my year-end list and things like that, so make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any videos. I post videos every Tuesday and Friday, and sometimes extra videos just like this one. And yeah, that's all for today. Thanks guys so much. Don't be a stranger, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!